Welcome back to episode 13 of Creator Conversations, where I have the pleasure of interviewing and really just having a conversation with some of the most influential content creators here in this personal finance and credit card niche that we find ourselves in. In our last episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with Matt Welter about his love for the travel side of the credit card game, his hotel credit card strategy right now, his overall journey on YouTube so far, and more. And in today's episode, I got the chance to talk to another one of my good friends in this creator space, that being Chad's Money Minutes. Chad and I discussed stuff like his strategy in applying for a new credit card every single month, how he's been able to beat Chase 524 in the past, his love for the Amex Platinum card and how much value it gives him personally, his unique YouTube journey as somebody that's really enjoyed the live streaming side of YouTube on top of his normal content, and of course, even more than that. If you do enjoy this series, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video and also check if you're subscribed to the channel, because not only do these take a lot of time to produce, of course, but at the same time, whenever I go travel to meet people for these interviews, that of course costs me some money as well. So even just that free support of leaving a like and subscribing to the channel really does help out. But with all that being said, I hope you all enjoy this one as much as I did. So without further ado, I'd love to welcome in Chad's Money Minutes to our conversation here today. Chad?
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this. I've been following you since you started, and honestly, man, this is the guy. He even made it to the yearbook. This is the guy.
Well, I appreciate that. That was a good video. I think it's great how plugged in you are to the whole community. I love it.
I try to be, man. I've done a lot of things, and I've had a lot of life experiences, and to see such a close-knit community and people who are really striving to push the goalposts and the bar even further and further, and just like the dynamic individuals I've met, it's just been great.
Right. That's awesome. Well, speaking of that community, I know all of my subscribers, your subscribers as well, are kind of here for the credit card based information. So I figured we'd go ahead and start with that, and just wanted to pose the question to you first of just, can you explain your overall credit card strategy? What kind of cards you like to add, team travel, team cashback, that sort of stuff?
Well, for me, definitely, you can count me on team travel. I like to I travel a lot for work, but I really would prefer to travel more for leisure, and especially now, being able to leverage points in a way that I never knew about before. You know, shout out to Spencer, shout out to Luke, shout out to all the other people who have taught me so much. It's that to be able to do that now, that's it. I work hard enough. Cashback, it can help, but I want the experiences that really, as a kid living in the city in Brooklyn, I never thought I'd ever see. I never thought I'd see the mountains of the West. I never thought I'd be in front of the Eiffel Tower. I never thought I'd see any of this stuff. So I'm definitely team travel all the way.
Yeah, that's a big reason that, you know, I'm a fan of team travel as well. It's just the idea that you can use your credit cards to give you experiences you probably would have never had if you had to pay cash for it. And I know it's like, I've had a lot of people comment, or maybe not a lot, but a few people comment stuff like, well, you're not going to become a millionaire with credit cards or credit card points. And it's like, well, it's not exactly the point, but if I can travel in a similar fashion to those types of people because I have credit card points, I think that's pretty substantial. Right.
Now you're in those circles. Power is incestuous, and that's something I always say. Yeah. They like to keep it in-house, and if you're there, if you have the bona fides, then you're there. At least you may not have it in the bank account or in the wallet, but they already know that you have the mindset, because now you have learned how to glean value from something that other people literally toss away. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then as for the annual fee versus no annual fees, I guess what kind of breakdown do you have there? Do you have an opinion on?
Well, for me, I used to be strictly no annual fees. Right. Period. I was of the understanding that most people who really haven't gotten the subtle nuances of the credit card game is that, oh, well, I'm not going to pay to have a credit card so I can rack up debt and pay debt. And that's not the name of the game. Mm-hmm. These annual fees, literally, these annual fees are value that you are prepaying for. And if you prepay for a value, then really your only enemy is inflation. So in other words, if you pay annual fees for a car and you don't use the value that you have purchased, it inevitably next year, it will be less valuable. And that is not on the credit card companies, that's on you. That's my philosophy.
Yeah, I think that is the right way to look at annual fees. And I think a lot of us, or maybe just a lot of people in the community, think that annual fee credit cards are giving you free value. You know, all the stuff that they give you are free value. The Platinum card gives you free, $1,500 worth of value. But in a sense, you are just prepaying for those benefits. And I think that's where the conversation of effective annual fees versus just a straight up annual fee comes into play, you know?
Absolutely. And I remember watching a video of yours where you took that pivot and you try to explain to people a different way of looking at it. I'm a huge fan of seeing the broad view. So for this, it's, for me personally, $695, I'm paying that for the Platinum. To be honest with you, I can say right now, if they went to $995, I would keep the Platinum card.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of the amount of travel that I do and the value that I bring back, like my lounge access, I can't put a price on that.
Right.
That helps me do my day job that finances YouTube. So how do I value that? But I know for a fact that without it, I'm in a loud terminal. I have a development team. We're developing software, and some of that stuff's proprietary.
Yeah.
So I need that cocoon in the Delta Lounge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, those extra benefits are something that are very hard to put a price tag on, but I think is why so many people find those high annual fee cards so valuable,
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. It's just great. So me, annual fees, if I can get value,
Right.
the annual fee is sort of an afterthought.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So it sounds like you definitely are leaning more towards team travel. I'm interested, you said you were against annual fees in the beginning, so that kind of leans more towards that cashback side maybe.
Absolutely.
Did you have a time that flipped between cashback and travel?
At that time, I didn't even realize cashback was more so of a no annual fee thing. I was really ignorant. I was very ignorant to credit. I knew how to use it. I knew how to pay it off. Mm-hmm. I knew that, when you charge your credit cards, if you don't pay it, you're going to have to pay interest.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the nuance of average daily balances, how they calculated my interest. It wasn't until I started doing college coursework and doing corporate finance that I realized how this stuff works and, how compounding either works for you or really, really, really against you in the case of credit cards. So that's when I realized maybe annual fee ain't so bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my very first one was my Delta Platinum card. And when I saw that buy one, get one ticket, sign me up.
Yeah.
$250 for a potential $500, $600, $700 flight. I'm not the highest grade of marijuana in the dispensary, but that made sense to me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's something that I've taken to heart too. I think there's a couple different stages of like the personal finance game in general for a lot of people. I think at least for like my journey, I can speak for that. I started learning about personal finance through people like Dave Ramsey. Mm-hmm. So you have that super strong, against credit card approach where, there are some smart financial habits you build in there, of course, like he's very valuable teachings. But then you kind of start to understand how the game works. You might start getting your own credit cards, no annual fee cards. You learn how to use them responsibly. And then you kind of step up to those higher annual fee cards. And I think that's just kind of like the natural progression. And I do see, though, a lot of people that like turn 18 and they want the platinum card. And it's like that's a slippery slope, I would say. But
that is a tall order, especially like when I look at new people who want to get in the credit card game.
Yeah.
The first thing is that I need to gauge if you have a credit card with a $10,000 limit, you got $1,000 in the bank. I need to know how much money you think you have.
Right.
Because if you think you have $11,000, you need to stay away from the credit card game.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, to get younger people and people, even older people who don't have the experience with credit cards, to understand that credit cards are so much more of a tool than they are even a currency vehicle.
Right.
That is like huge to switch the understanding. And they realize like, hey, emergency, I may have to use this. I may have to spend more because people spend more than they have all the time.
Yeah.
I have a car payment. If I adhered to credit card philosophy of paying cash or even the Dave Ramsey approach of paying cash for everything I own, I wouldn't have a car right now.
Right.
Because I didn't have it. If you have a car payment, you are leveraging a debt and you're paying a set amount of interest, which is much better than the revolving interest of credit card debt. But it's just sort of a thing to kind of relate it.
Right, 100%. So speaking of your credit card journey specifically, I think one thing that separates you from a lot of even like other creators in the space is that you seem to have more of just like a kind of run and gun approach as it comes to applying for credit cards.
Oh yeah.
And it's like whatever card gives you value, it seems like you will just add it to your setup. So can you kind of explain that philosophy around your card applications and how you've found success in doing things like beating Chase 524 and all that kind of stuff?
Well, initially, when I got into credit cards, I didn't watch YouTube first.
Yeah.
Watching YouTube actually came after getting a card on a whim. Actually, when I met my wife, she had more credit cards than me and was earning points and stuff. And I was like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? And after getting that first Delta card and seeing what I could potentially prepay for, I didn't know about the Chase rule.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell in love with Amex.
Yeah.
And then I started doing that. I found out about the Chase rule, and I'm like, hey, it's too late now. You know what? All gas, no brakes. And then to beat the Chase 524 rule, I didn't realize that direct mailers did it. So I found that out on a whim.
Yeah.
Get your direct mailers. Do not throw them out. They're not junk mail. If they have an offer code, use your offer code. I don't care if you're... I got all of my Chase cards after 8/24.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I think that's crazy to a lot of people, and some people don't even believe it, but
got
it
them
happens.
all.
Yeah, it's like you and Luke, right? You and Luke beating the 524.
He ended up getting. I think he got 2 ink cashes, ink unlimited.
Yeah,
it was just for a while. It was like Chase kind of, they kind of, just do what you will. And my ink cash, I didn't even get a mailer for it. I just tried it. And so also with my business Hyatt.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It seems like they obviously are a little bit less strict on the business side of things, but even then, I mean, I have a ton of people that apply and they get denied at 524, and it's just an interesting game that we play. I think, do you have a feeling of why it's been successful for you? Like, do you put a ton of spin through your cards and that's why they like you, or do you have a Chase business account? Or
to be honest with you, I had actually canceled. I'd zeroed my relationship with Chase on the banking side.
Okay.
So all I had was a Chase Freedom Unlimited and an Amazon Prime card. Okay. Now, and shout out to my wife, she works out that Amazon card.
Yeah.
Pretty, I mean, but not anything crazy, but when we put our kids in daycare, we found out the daycare took credit cards with no fee.
That's nice.
No fee at all.
Nice, yeah.
So we had two little ones who weren't potty trained, so they're more expensive. Just in case anyone's wondering out there, when you send your kids to daycare, if they're not potty trained, you are going to pay top dollar. Even though we did get a discount because they were siblings, it was almost $500 a week.
Jeez. Yeah.
So now from going to incidental pharmacy purchases on my CFU to almost $2,000 a month,
right.
I started looking, I can only assume, it made me start looking a lot more appetizing to Chase to see, well, oh, he has a registered business, because that's public knowledge. You can look it up, and I'm sure they have databases to cross-reference that. Right. All of a sudden, I started getting business card offers. Before I got my Business Unlimited, I think I actually got a few of those mailers and just threw them away. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, because that's what a lot of people do. They'll throw away those mailers, but they are like a secret ticket to getting past all the rules, really.
Straight golden ticket.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe I was thunderstruck when I got the card.
Yeah.
And then when I started getting more mailers for the preferred, I actually got them in order of the unlimited in September of 2022. Then I got the preferred in October. It was like a month. It was very close afterwards. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up getting the ink cash that January. The ink cash, I just was like, let me just see if they give it to me.
Right.
And they gave it to me.
Yeah.
2 months later, business Hyatt.
Man. Yeah, that's a lot. So I guess you do have to funnel a decent amount of spend to even hit those bonuses.
That would be my assumption. Yeah. Especially if you haven't been spending on it before. Then I opened my business account with them. I established a business account and joint account with the wife and stuff like that. So they ended up enticing me back with the business from that. So it was a good go. Okay.
So as for your application frequency in general, how often are you usually applying for cards?
I used to want to do one a month.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah.
At least one a month, because I have 4 kids. So they eat daily.
Yeah.
They got to go. They have to do this. They have to do that. The wife's car needs gas. It's just by virtue of the amount of people we have with us.
Yeah.
Our life's expensive.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not even like to say that we're trying to ball out of control or live some sort of posh lifestyle, but by virtue of the fact that at one point eggs were $11, like we're passing money through these cards and we were responsible. So I figured, let's get the best return possible, especially since sign-up bonuses are always going to give you your highest rate of return. And then what ended up happening was, then I just started looking for high bonuses.
Right.
Instead of just one a month, I started being more intentional with it to get the highest bonus I could possibly get, even if I had to, back off of new card applications and kind of let my credit cool off a little bit.
Yeah. And then, so where are you sitting then with all of like the different lender rules? Or I guess first, how many credit cards do you have active at the moment?
I should have counted before I came here. I'm fairly certain I'm over 30.
Okay. So then that would probably mean that, like, for example, 524, I assume you're still over?
Yeah, I think I'm 12,
Okay.
24 now,
Yeah.
because I got 17 cards in the last 24 months.
Man, that's a lot, but it's a lot of value.
Yeah, I think it's 17, and that's including business cards as well.
Right. So that does help with 524 a bit. I
Yeah.
guess 5 of them being
Yeah.
not counting towards the 524. And then what about like your Amex, like the 5 credit card limit? Has that affected you?
Actually, no, because I'm at 5 credit cards.
Okay.
Because I have the Blue Business Plus, the Bonvoy Business, the BCP, the Hilton Surpass. There's another one.
You don't have the Aspire?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. The Aspire is actually a pocket ace for me.
Gotcha.
Because I'm actually I'm in the hunt for lifetime Hilton Diamond status. So for that, just in case anybody doesn't know, you have to have Hilton Diamond status for 10 years. It can be non-consecutive, and earn, I do believe it's at least 1 million base points in order to get lifetime Diamond status. And I'm also, while I'm doing that, simultaneously doing lifetime Marriott status.
Gotcha. So you're obviously traveling a lot too. So that's something important to note for people, is that this stuff isn't easily attainable.
No.
It takes a lot of actual stays and stuff like that.
No, exactly. And I thought it was incumbent on me, using my unique situation, because most people work a couple miles away from home.
Right.
Most people's commute 10 miles, 12 miles. My commute might be 3,000, because I was out in Orange County where Stan was, and I was out there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm out there, I'm working 7 days a week, and just living the consultant life.
Yeah.
And so I fly way more than the average bear. So it would be foolish of me not to take advantage of this stuff.
Yeah, just imagine, I guess, if you were like a debit card only user through all this stuff, so much value being missed out on.
Oh, I've converted a few people out there.
Yeah.
I definitely have.
Doing
you
the
meet
Lord's
some
work.
of the you meet some of the most awesome people in the airports. You meet all walks of life.
Yeah. So as for the amount that you fly, and so obviously hotel-wise, we got Marriott and Hilton seem to be your top 2 if you're going for lifetime status. As for flights, though, do you frequent? I know you like Delta. Is that your number 1?
That is my number 1. My wife, she coaxed me away from JetBlue.
Gotcha.
I used to be a JetBlue guy.
Okay. And so I guess why Delta then?
Well, she explained it to me. She was like, I like the service, I like the product, I've never had a problem. And to her credit, 5 years later, I think I had 1 flight delay and 1 thing where there was a noise on a plane. Other than that, never any issues. Soft product, top. Hard product, tops. My first business class flight was on the Delta A330, their older Delta One product, not the new suites that they have. And I gotta tell you, it was more comfortable than the Boeing product that they had.
Interesting.
Like physically, even though the Boeing product was newer and more up to date, like for me, and being a tall guy as well, it was more comfortable to literally be in a plane for 9 hours on the older product.
Interesting.
But
They're
they
trying
have
to fit more people in the newer ones, probably.
Yeah, they have a consistency with their products though, and to Delta's credit, even though somebody fell asleep at the wheel as far as their rewards program goes, they're actually pretty consistent, pretty decent. You know what to expect every time you deal with them, regardless of where you deal with them.
Gotcha. And are they also are you frequenting a Delta hub pretty often? Does that play a big role in it, or?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, being that I live here in South Florida, if I go anywhere except for Houston, Detroit, and New York, I'm passing through Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah,
right?
so that's a big Delta hub. Yeah.
Got to. Busiest airport in the world. Thankfully, they're getting a Centurion Lounge. Thankfully.
Yeah.
I filmed all the Sky Clubs in there. They have the train and all the good stuff. But yeah, I've been to Atlanta Airport in some cases more than someone who's lived in Atlanta.
Yeah. I bet so. I mean, with the amount that you're traveling, you're probably there a lot more than most people.
Intimately familiar with the place.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I guess, from my standpoint, maybe that just generally I live in Austin, Texas, and for one, we don't have much lounge access, but we also don't have like a ton of presence of like one specific airline. Besides like Southwest is probably the most frequent. So that's just who I fly. There was some announcements yesterday. I don't know if you saw that about how they're devaluing their program a little bit. So that'll be interesting change.
I saw some announcements for some videos, but I was tied up at work all day, so I didn't get to watch them. I think some of the other creators had put out something on there, but I was going to take a look because I really don't fly Southwest.
Yeah.
But I just want to, stay in the credit card know.
Right. Yeah. Basically, what I've read is that they're like devaluing their point system by or the amount of points you have to use is going to raise by like 4% across the board, which makes their 1.4 to 1.5 cent per point valuation like 1.3.
Yeah.
So it's not a big change, but like obviously not a change in the right direction. But I guess Delta on the same token is not necessarily the best points program for the sky.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't lie to you. Aside from the program, to be honest with you, their currency, you got to know how to finesse Delta.
Yeah.
And being a frequent Delta flyer, the worst thing you can do with your points in Delta is have that plane originate or land anywhere in the United States.
Okay.
It's the worst thing you can do. If you take a Delta One flight from Mexico City to Charles de Gaulle, that same flight, which is longer, will cost you half of what it will cost doing Delta One from Atlanta to Charles de Gaulle.
Okay.
And by all means, anybody can verify this. It is a thing where inside the U.S., Delta points are so heavily devalued because Delta wants to pass on the carrier fees. Mm-hmm. They do. Mm-hmm. But once you go international, they're limited on which carrier fees they can pass on, which is only the 9/11 fund, which is the magic 560 that everybody hears about. Like we went to Paris, we flew Delta Metal, $5.60 in Delta One. It's all we paid out of pocket.
Yeah.
Now the whole thing is when you touch different countries, then all of a sudden, the minute the plane's wheels hit the ground, then everything gets recalculated. So with Delta, if you want to get the most out of your points, do country-to-country flights that do not involve the United States.
Interesting. So whenever you're booking your flights for work, are you paying cash or are you booking? Or I guess your company's going to be paying.
Yeah,
for those.
I do direct bills with my company, but if I don't do a direct bill, because I work with multiple subcontracting companies. Yeah. So if I do a subcontractor that wants me to front it, Platinum card all day.
Okay. Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. So then I guess now it would be a good time to get into your just actual credit cards that you use on a daily basis because you have 30 plus, but you can't obviously use all those all the time. So what credit cards get the most use out of your wallet?
Well, right now, first and foremost, it's going to be my Gold card because I eat every day. I'm at the office, and because everyone at the office knows I do points, I always pay for lunch.
That's nice.
So I get all the points. I use my Bilt card on the 1st of every month. I knock out my 5 transactions, and I buy breakfast, lunch, and dinner, get the 6X.
Nice.
My Amex screen was being used for the charging of my car, but now I just picked up the Autograph card last month in anticipation for this Wednesday when Wells Fargo introduces their transfer partners, and I just finished the spending bonus on that. Nice. So that does my gas station purchases, because I just go there for the convenience store. It does my electric car charging, and it's also the card that I load for my Turnpike Pass. Okay. So that's all 3X categories. Yeah. So that thing has a ton of them, so that's what I use that for. Any business things, my Blue Business Plus is my absolute go-to.
Right, yeah.
Period.
That's what I do too.
So there's that, and I don't believe anything else really gets heavy rotation right now.
Right, because that's what, all your food, all your gas, or
even though I have a ton of cards in my pocket right now, it's just I haven't just rearranged my wallet because I don't know if I'm going to get on a plane in a minute. So
that's true. Like I have my bag that I brought for this trip that I have like my Priority Pass card in and stuff like that. But in my wallet, I try to keep like three to four, something
absolutely.
like that. But so your Platinum card is obviously one that you get a ton of value out of, but it's maybe not one that you're obviously spending on.
Not while I'm home. No, unless the magic of the Platinum card for me when I'm not traveling is Amex offers.
Gotcha. Okay.
I stress, I've been screaming about Amex offers since I got into this space. I'm telling you, they're just a magic bullet that Amex has. Now, mind you, Chase has comparable offers. Wells Fargo, there's Bank of America deals, but you're not, because of the value of Amex points, especially their additional points offers, can be huge values.
Right.
Like mini sign-up bonuses.
Right.
These shoes that I'm wearing right here, I got these on an Amex offer. 10x points per dollar spent.
Yeah, those are really valuable if you just use them. And I have mine all auto-activated, so I never really look at them. But I should look at them more because there probably are some that I could just take advantage of, but I use my other cards for instead because I get more percentage back. But
they're insane.
Yeah.
They are insane. I got 1,000 points just to buy a pair of shoes that I really wanted anyway.
Right.
So how do you beat that? Other than that, it would have been 1x.
Right.
I got my I just got the Remarkable 2 notepad.
Oh yeah,
I just got that, and that was an Amex offer. I used my Blue Business Plus, and then they put an extra, I think it's 1 or 2 points on it for Best Buy. Plus I get the purchase protection, the return protection, just everything. It's just the Amex offer. I swear by them.
Yeah.
I really do.
Okay, so now we know how you use your cards, to get the most value. But I think a lot of people would also ask the question, you have 30 plus credit cards, how do you keep them all active? What's your strategy behind that?
Okay, and that's good that you ask. Everything, when I do my run and gun approach with my credit card applications, I ask myself, is there a pertinent need right now? What thing do I need right now? So, because in my head, across the industry is normally 2 years. You use a card once. If you don't use it in 2 years, they send you a letter to let you know they're going to deactivate it before they actually deactivate it. So what do I need right now? You'll notice that I apply for more cards in the fall because my mom's property taxes are due. My property taxes are due. School is starting.
Right.
Christmas is right around the corner. So I'll actually get a little wild with multiple sign-on bonuses as well. So for each card that's active, like my Hilton card, I just discovered that you can use the Hilton credit if you have the Surpass to get gift cards.
Yeah.
You can, my gold card gets daily use, so that's not a problem. Bilt cards used on the first, Platinum card, any travel, green card, incidental purchases, Blue Business Plus, business purchases, Business Unlimited, 1.5 if I want to reset it. It's 1.5 across the board for Chase. My Ink Cash, I use that at office stores. My Ink Preferred, that pays my cell phone bill. So like everything literally has a purpose. And luckily, because I have multiple cards with multiple issuers, I only have 3 or 4 logins I have to keep track of.
Gotcha. So do you have any like Citi cards?
I do not. I am radioactive to both Citi and Capital One.
Capital One, right. Okay.
Yeah, my velocity is just, they laugh me off the phone.
Gotcha. So would you still recommend, though, that people say if they don't have 30 cards yet, do you recommend that people go look at those cards? Or
Absolutely.
What do you? Okay.
I would say Citi over Capital One if you're cashback Citi.
Right.
But if you want to travel, I'd say Capital One over Citi. Because one thing about Capital One cards, none of them have a foreign transaction fee.
Right.
They have very few fees. They are geared towards subprime borrowers. So as long as you're responsible, getting in with them early, I would actually suggest them even more so than Chase, because literally your established credit score can actually be a barrier to entry for Capital One because you are not profitable.
Right.
You're not paying ongoing 28% interest, be it a Venture X or a Quicksilver. Yeah. So even before you establish yourself, I would definitely say Capital One is a good bank, objectively speaking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know that I think one of the best beginner credit cards out there right now, if you're a student, would be that Saver One student card. Getting the Saver One as your first credit card would be
the Saver
pretty
One's
awesome.
A good card.
But
it's just a good card all across the board.
Right.
I would actually venture to say that it is a card that can directly threaten a gold card.
Yeah. Yeah, I made content about that because it's literally like, if you don't get any value from the credits on the gold card, for example, I mean, the Saver One's going to blow it out of the water.
Absolutely.
Especially when you pair it with a venture card and can use it for travel.
It is a fantastic card. I definitely, and Citi, their custom cash, I envy anyone who has custom cash. You have a custom cash.
I have one, yeah.
The custom cash is a great card.
Yeah.
Paired with the Premier, if you want to maximize, or even a double cash.
Right.
A double cash and a Premier, you got a $99, you pretty much have a $99 Venture X.
Right. Or 95, yeah.
Yeah, $95 Venture X with no travel protections. But I mean, you can always just buy the insurance right on the airport site. So
And also, I've said this before, but could you not book at least in points with your Premier and then pay for the tax and fees on another card that has protections and you're good?
bada bing.
So that's another way that people could work around it.
See, that's a pro tip. He just gave you guys a pro tip.
Yeah.
Understand that when you use some of these premium cards like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Amex Platinum, any part of that ticket you pay affords you the protections that come with that card. You just read your fine print, because one thing a lot of people don't know is that one thing that will preclude you from some of those protections is doing a full reward booking. Like if you book through Air Canada, they'll let you cover the tax and fees with the points. But if you do that and put the card as a backup, you don't get the trip protection.
Right.
You got to pay some cash.
Yeah. So speaking of Citi more, that is something that even like I'm struggling with right now, because I have the custom cash, but I have no way to make those points more valuable. I need the Premier. Yeah. But I already have now 10, 11 cards. So getting the Premier is going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, they are very much so inquiry sensitive from what I've learned. That's why I don't even make Citi videos, because I mean, I prefer to make videos on cards that I have.
Right.
So that way I can let you know from experience the good, bad, and other. But I would like to see you get the Premier, because that's the whole problem. Because now you're stuck in a cashback mode, even though you have that 5X for your gas and stuff in your chosen categories. But they get rough.
I know. Yeah, that's something too that, like, if I want to get that card, I probably have to stop applying for cards for at least 6 months if I really want a good shot at it.
I would take it a year.
Yeah, exactly. That's the real safe bet. But it's like
for Citi, I would take it a year, because even your applications, regardless of approvals or denials, like, it doesn't matter. Like, they're serious. Like I like, they had me really rethinking myself. Like, am I doing something wrong? Do I need to miss a bill or something?
Right.
Because like legit, they just they wanted nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it's definitely the same with Capital One, I imagine. I got lucky with them getting the Venture X as, I think, my 9th card. And I think it's because I'm still within like 2 to 3 years of me starting getting cards. So like I was able to slip by with them. But the Premier is one that I'm not sure about. The only person I've seen like get it later in the game is, I think, Mark Reese. Because I think he got it, he was not even like under 524, I don't think, when he got it. So it was like, I think he did it, but I don't know. It's a card that I'm considering, but I guess that's maybe a video topic to talk about.
Yeah, I think definitely if you can get it, I'll be there for it, man. I was happy for you when you got the Venture X. I remember I watched a lot of your videos, your Blue Business Plus application, which actually did fantastic.
Yeah, the Watch Me Implies do pretty well for me for some reason. But
it was a fantastic video. It was good. It turned out the way we wanted it to turn out, and it's just, you took a measured approach on it. I was rooting for you with the Venture X, because I had a bit of a kerfuffle with them. But you know, as long as you were able to get it, that was fantastic too. And I watched that. I was happy for you. I'm happy for anybody who can get it. I hope you get the prestige, and I hope I'm there to see it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. The support is real, even if they don't treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
I think one other topic I wanted to cover on the credit card side of things is, recently on my channel, I talked about how I upgraded my Chase Sapphire Preferred to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So that's kind of like my main, I also have the Venture X, like you just said, but the Reserve's kind of my main like premium travel credit card now, as of like this week. But obviously you are on that Amex Platinum side.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you are like one of the biggest proponents of that card.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking we could do like a little bit of a comparison between the two, but mainly just have you talk about why you love the Platinum so much. I mean, you've already kind of covered that, but in a specific section here.
Well, for the Platinum, I love it as it is a true premium card in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And most people, and it's not an elitist attitude, but I like the fact that it has such a high annual fee, because that barrier to entry gives people pause to decide that, am I just getting this card to flex and I'm eventually going to default? Because people don't think beyond the fact that if Amex is passing out this card like candy to anybody with a 620 credit score who can't actually pay for it, if they default on the annual fee, us folks who actually use the card, who pay the bill off monthly, who don't carry a balance on it, enough defaults happen, that's going to cost us.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? As opposed to thinning the herd and making sure that you have people who use the card that So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Secondly, while the coupon book style of the card is not very popular,
Yeah.
still though it's premium in that you get the kind of credits that you're not going to get anywhere else.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Uber Cash is, depending on where you live, it can be used in many different ways. And the way Uber's business model has expanded, doesn't have to be food. Doesn't have to be, all the things that, or specifically rides. You can still make use of that. Just going to take a little effort. The Clear credit, the TSA credit, you just got to travel once a year.
Right.
To make it happen. Just once a year.
It's kind of the case for a lot of the premium travel credit cards, I feel like. I mean, the Platinum is one that you do need to probably put a little bit more effort into, but you get much more. But in a sense, like the Venture X, 1 trip a year through their portal, and you cover the annual fee. The Reserve, I talked about in the video, it's like you have a $300 annual travel credit, which is really easy to get value from, but then 1 trip a year through their portal, for example, is going to cover the rest of the annual fee. So it's like the Platinum card in that sense, I think, does that and gives you even more than that. But I think the coupon book, approach has definitely hurt its reputation in a sense, but it's obviously a smart business move by Amex. They want you to use the card more. They're making you use it. If you don't use it, they get money.
Absolutely. And I actually am one of the few people who can say this. Fun fact about me, I actually use the Equinox credit.
Nice.
You normally hear it totally excluded from videos. People don't talk about it. I actually signed up for it, and I used the Equinox Plus Gym credit as a companion app for when I go work out.
Oh, it's the app version, right? Okay, because that's like $40 a month or something like that compared to...
It's $300 a year. It's the exact amount of the credit.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, I work out anyway.
Yeah.
I'm paying a gym membership anyway. But the companion app actually has curated workouts.
Okay.
Upper body, lower body, strength training, core training, cardiovascular training. So there are days if I don't have my notebook with me, or if it's like, or if I've been out of the gym, or coincidentally, I was just in Ohio for a month.
Okay.
I worked over 30 days in a row.
Jeez.
I wasn't going downstairs to the gym.
Yeah.
But I wanted to work something. I wanted to mix it up a little bit so I don't get so my muscles don't get used to one thing. Boom, my Equinox app. I'm doing my push-ups, my lunges, and doing all of this and praying to God I don't break anything because I'm not a young man anymore. But it has actually been useful to me in order to maintain, because I just got to maintain my health now. I got 4 kids I got to chase after.
Yeah. I'm sure that keeps you in pretty good shape as it is.
Yeah, there's something.
Yeah. Okay, so you do obviously get value. How much value do you think you get from it every year? Or I guess what credits maybe is a better question do you literally get no value out of? I feel like you use all of them, but...
I pretty much use them all. It's funny that you asked me that. The very first year I had it, I even said it on my videos, like the true test is going to be the second year.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Should always be the case, honestly, yeah.
Everybody gets value. It's shooting fish in a barrel to get the value the first year, because you get the sign-up bonus. That's going to be the lion's share of your value. And then, you're excited, you're using things, but how consistent can you stay with that? I know the very first year, I got just under $9,000 worth of value that I calculated.
Yeah. Is that come from the point redemptions, or is that from the actual credits and...
Everything.
Okay.
All inclusive, because my redemptions... the way I value points is the value that I get from them. Now, instead of, and by all means, there are aggregate indicators like the Points Guy and Flyer Talk and so on and so forth. But for me, because of the level that I play at, it's what do I get from these points? Not what I should get, or what someone else is getting. So like for me, in my lifetime of redeeming Amex points, I have averaged 6 cents a point.
Yeah,
it's still at 6 cents. So for me, that first 100,000 points that I got by 6 cents, I'm not, for some reason, doing math very well in my head right now.
That's what, $6,000, right?
Yeah.
6 cents per point.
6 cents.
Yeah. Divided by 100. Yeah.
Yeah. That was 6,000 in and of itself, and that's not counting the points that I earned on the gold card on the way, on the platinum card on the way. But I only just counted the sign up.
Yeah.
And that was for the flights that I took, and I used the FHR the first week I had it. But then here's the difference. I used the FHR the first week I had it on the first year, but I literally just found a reason to use it at the very end of this year So it's like it's a bit of a toss-up. The digital credit, the kids need Disney Plus and all that good stuff. And we have Peacock. We have the Walmart Plus. We actually use that because we travel for work, so we have food delivered to the kids. So we actually use a ton of the credits on the Platinum card.
Yeah. It sounds like it's almost like tailor-made for you and your situation. And I think that's what people don't get is like, I could go get that card right now, but I would be working to get value from the card, and that's not how you should be getting a credit card.
Yeah,
I think I'm obviously in a unique position where basically any card makes sense because for the channel I can share the experience.
Absolutely.
That's different than just someone else going to get it. But if you're 21 years old, you're in college, and you're like, I want the Platinum card, you're likely not in obviously the same situation as you where everything makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's something I try to drive to people. But
because on the flip side, really one of my credit card regrets now is the Hyatt business card. I got the card. I literally found myself planning out trips to Hyatt because you get two $50 credits. The annual fee is $199. You get two $50 credits for two separate bookings.
Yeah.
So I did that, got the two $50 credits, got the Explorist. I used my status match back when MGM and Hyatt were partnered.
Okay. Yeah.
I got Discoverist. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got Discoverist, and that's all it gives you.
Yeah.
But the only high note is that you have free and authorized users, and you can give them Discoverist status, but Discoverist for Hyatt's not that great.
No. Yeah.
I don't see Hyatt's. Actually, down here in South Florida, there's one very close. It's a couple streets over.
I saw it, yeah.
But other than that, my travels rarely take me to Hyatt's, so I kind of got the card for the experience to showcase it, and I've tried to use it, but yeah, it's not for me. So it's gonna go.
I think that's one of those cards I talked about it in a video recently where it's like, unless you are a very high spender and are chasing like globalists with Hyatt, that card's great for that, but for the majority of people, it's not worth it. Only for the bonus maybe, but then.
Yeah, I got the bonus, and that's really what I used it for, to get the Hyatt that I'll be staying at in Rome.
Gotcha.
That lent a large sum of the points to it.
Which that's a good use case.
Wait a minute. No, I used it for the Park Hyatt in New York.
Okay. Well, same difference though. Is like you had a purpose for it.
No, absolutely.
To use the points, but
2024, it's out of there.
Hopefully that makes some changes before then. Supposed to release that luxury Hyatt credit card.
Yeah, we'll see what they say.
I mean, we've been waiting on the Citi cards for a couple of years, so.
Yeah, Citi.
But I guess it doesn't even make a difference because Citi's. A lot of people by the time those cards come out won't be able to get them.
Maybe they'll open the floodgates though.
You would hope. Maybe you'd be picking some Citi cards.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Hey, what's one more inquiry amongst friends?
Exactly. So I guess we talked about the Amex card or the Platinum, and then as for the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I guess I've explained in a full video on my channel why it makes sense for me personally, but just to give my value add to that card, the reason it makes sense for me over the Platinum right now is because, like I just said, I'd be working to get value from the Platinum. I wouldn't have to work at all for the Reserve because it just fits my travel habits. We also have, I mentioned in the Austin airport, there's like 4 lounges total, which I guess is better than some airports, but still not many. That's a United Club, an Admirals Club, Delta Sky Club, and a Chase Sapphire Terrace. And there's only so many Chase Sapphire lounges, but one of them happens to be in Austin, and it is a smaller one. So that's obviously a big value add for me to actually have consistent airport lounge access. The Venture X gives it to me, Priority Pass, but there's no Priority Pass lounges in Austin. So it'll help in other airports. But now I also have the unlimited Priority Pass access on the Reserve with the restaurants.
With the restaurants, yeah.
So both those, like the lounge access was a big pull for me because I wanted to start getting into lounges. So that was one. And I wouldn't be having to work to get the value because the $300 annual travel credit.
I got to tell you that lounge access, it's a game changer.
I've had the Venture X for, I don't know how long I've had it, but the video's on the channel, but I have not gone into a single airport lounge.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Especially considering the type of man that you are, and you have things where you need to focus, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Especially when you need to concentrate, because people don't appreciate how busy airports really are.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the overhead announcements that you get outside of the lounge, you don't get them inside the lounge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are a lot less distractions and what's going on. So I'm really happy for you, especially getting that Priority Pass Unlimited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. And I guess all of this is really just to say though that a premium travel credit card, all of them are great for a specific person, a target demographic.
Absolutely.
But it does not necessarily mean that because Chad's getting $1,500 a year from the Platinum or more, that you're going to get that. It's really you have to take into account your specific situation. And I would imagine I was going to ask you why you wouldn't consider the Sapphire Reserve, and I think a big part of that. You would?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've always liked the Sapphire Reserve. I've always thought it was a great card, even though it could probably use a little refresh.
I'd be happy to see it. I have it, so.
But to be honest with you, I think it's a solid card, very easy to use travel category. You got the 1.5x redemption.
Yeah,
and that actually reminds me of the redemption that you did. I thought my absolute favorite video on your channel is the redemption you did for your computer.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's because it showcased your growth and it showcased your intelligence where leveraging was concerned.
Right.
The amount of value that you bought in your computer, given that it is now integrated in your life, like, I mean, I don't care what they said on there. Oh, you only got 1.25 cents. Okay, on paper.
Yeah.
But there are billionaires out there who are poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're billionaires on paper, but they're poor in real life. You actually did what I would like to think is one of the smartest redemptions I've ever seen someone do publicly. Because other than that, a lot of people just chase cent per point values.
Right.
Almost to their detriment.
Yeah, I agree.
I got a 12 cent per point value for this trip from Detroit to Johannesburg. Where do you live? San Diego?
Yeah.
How are you going to get to Detroit? Well, I got to take a $700 flight because I blew all of my points.
Right.
But I only got it one way from Detroit to Johannesburg, and I got to pay cash to come back. You see how that gets a little wonky? But I think that redemption, and honestly, I would totally get the reserve card for that because even in your video, and just to let you know, like, I watch everything.
Yeah, I appreciate
You
that.
even said that, with the round numbers, you'd have been under 200,000 points.
Right.
For Apple computers, which aren't cheap, which are powerful machines, and you're going to get however many years of use out of that. I thought that was absolutely wonderful to the point where I was literally singing your praises. I became a little bit of a fanboy there because I'm like, this guy gets it.
Yeah, that was definitely a polarizing video, but I really appreciated your support on it because when I posted it, I knew it would be slightly polarizing. I think the actual best move, theoretically, again, on paper, would have been for me to upgrade the reserve then. Because I would have got 1.5 cents per point. And I mentioned that in my video about the reserve. And, people even made that comment on that video. And my whole point with my channel in general is that I'm documenting my journey. So that back then, I only had the preferred. I didn't even consider the reserve. That's the redemption value I got. If I did it today, I would have done more. But that's you live and you learn, and I'm trying to do it.
But hey, that move, I can tell you straight up, that move, you were wise beyond your years for that.
Well, I appreciate it.
That one, I saw it, and I was just like, as a matter of fact, I think I spoke on it and I featured you on my channel for it because I'm like, people got to know that, look, this is it. This is why we do this.
Yeah, I remember that moment meant a lot to me when I saw that video, so I appreciate you for that. But I think in general, the credit card game is there to give you, value in your life. It's a value add to your life in some regard that just helps you to not spend cash. That's basically the whole point of it. So to me, it's like if we're talking about the team travel side of things, if you're going to, I book a lot of Southwest flights on points. I'm getting 1.4 cents per point. It's not great. Not necessarily recommended by the community, especially with Chase points. But I'm making memories that I will never forget on those trips. So to me, if I can't remember the cent per point redemption in 10 years, but I remember the memories.
There we go. That's it.
So
like Vegas. I'll never forget Vegas.
Yeah, no, that was another one. I didn't get a ton of value for my points, but I don't even care
I'll never forget it. That was amazing.
I know, we got to do that again.
That
People have
trip
been
was
asking.
amazing. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I will actually be in New Orleans Labor Day 2024. I'm going to be in New Orleans, and I would definitely like to see if we can get people to do it again.
I would do it.
Totally. I have to make a video about it, where I'm going to be staying, the redemption. People have been asking me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to jump out and just say it one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I talked to Luke, and Luke is definitely open to Vegas. I talked to...
to New Orleans or Vegas?
I'm sorry. New Orleans.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And we would actually be in another unique situation in which there is so much space publicly that we wouldn't have to go crazy for a venue
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it would be great. Nice, centrally located. The weather is going to be a little balmy, but not rainy. Not.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you know, a hot, sticky New Orleans evening. But I mean, you got the French Quarter right there.
Right. I'd love to do it. I just got back from a road trip from Austin to furthest east was Charleston, South Carolina. Came back, but I stayed in New Orleans on the way there, and I stayed at a Hyatt Regency or something like that on like Bourbon Street, which I didn't know it was there whenever I booked it. But but yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a ton of hotels, but there is that one Hyatt that was pretty nice, and you know,
that's cool.
It's an old city in general, so it's got a lot of cool buildings and places to stay. So I'd definitely be happy to do that.
Yeah, man. I think we could all benefit meeting in Jackson Square and you know, having some beignets at Cafe Beignet.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to be there. I know Matt Clausen's going to be there, so just to let you guys know, that's where I will be, and I have no problem just like, you know, singing it from the rooftops.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so we got through basically everything that I wanted to talk about on the credit card side of things. We could talk about that for 5 hours, but just to sake of time here, I'd like to transition a little bit into your YouTube journey, because I think everybody's YouTube journey is very unique, and I think you have a great perspective on it that like I don't have and a lot of folks don't have. So first question naturally is, can you just tell us more about why you started on YouTube, and also specifically why your channel name is Chad's Money Minutes? I think that's something that people would.
Well, the very first thing, as far as Chad's Money Minutes, it actually came as when I formed my company, right? I have a company, and it's the umbrella under which I do all my contracting. And I always said I want to reach out to people. I want to help people. I want to do things. And I was talking to my wife, and at the time, my 7-year-old daughter, and she's like, start a YouTube channel. But I'm like, who wants to listen to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, what am I going to talk to people about for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes?
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was saying, I have an idea. I'll teach people how to save money 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
And hence the name Chad's Money Minutes was born. So really, my first videos, I think my first 20, 25 videos were all just 1 minute videos.
Okay.
And then when I got the Platinum card and really started using it, that was my segue into long form content. But I just stuck with the Money Minutes name.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, because I remember, do you remember when you started exactly?
If you look on there, it says that I've been on YouTube since 2018. But really and truly, I formed an account for a speech class in college.
Yeah, okay.
Then it went dormant. Then I tried to start something, didn't really do anything. So really seriously, I started in February of 2022.
Okay, so that's why that makes sense, because I was there when you were just Chad's Money Minutes, like before you started that full Amex benefits series.
Yeah,
that's when I had found your channel.
You've been around a lot.
Yeah.
Because
I started in March of 2022.
Yeah, I remember. Because really, it's because of you that I really met a lot more people in the community. When you guys did your Christmas special, that's how I met CJ, Anthony, Stan, Josh Butler. That's how I met all of you guys. And you were actually the initial person, because you would comment on my videos, and I started watching and stuff. I'm like, oh, hey,
yeah,
okay, he's doing it. So we've been rolling since the beginning.
Yeah.
That's when I really took it seriously.
Yeah, it's funny because that's like when me, Matt Welter, Stan, the Credit Frog, Anthony Venture, I think all of us started within a couple months of each other. And there's probably more that I'm even leaving out of that group you just mentioned, but a lot of us started right in that 2022. Yeah. And it's cool to see, that was kind of my whole goal with YouTube, was to stay connected with people, hence creator conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been my favorite part of the YouTube journey. But it's just cool to see where we've all taken it.
Yeah, and really, they've actually shot off in many different directions.
Right, and that's going to continue, right? It's going to continue to happen where we each find what is uniquely us, And that's, speaking of, so your channel, you obviously post a long form. You do the shorts still, right? Here and there.
Yeah.
I guess I know you did it for the meetup, right? You did some shorts during that.
I did, and then I realized that in my excitement on my Rode mic, the mics were muted.
Oh.
So I shot 5 or 6 of them, and people were like, we can't hear anything you're saying. And it wasn't until I got home, because I have 2 of them, and I figured the one that I was using That was the muted one, so
Nice.
no one could hear anything.
Well, hopefully we don't have that issue. I think we're good on our end, but that is like one of my biggest fears is that they don't actually get any audio.
Yeah, my credit card hot. I was so excited because I never do shorts, but I would tell people I invented YouTube Shorts before YouTube had YouTube Shorts, and the minute videos. I'm not gonna lie, they didn't have a lot of rewatchability.
Right.
They did.
Yeah.
It was only a minute. I wanted them to be easily digestible, but I never thought about the evergreen aspect until I started doing the long form. And then I got the idea of the Amex card has this book of, I can get practice doing long form if I go over all of these categories. And I'm telling you, it was a labor of love. It took months for me to get them all out.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was like a staple of your channel for like the whole few first months. I feel like
that's it. That's all I did. And then even after a while, I was getting practice using the card and learning how to optimize the features while just being introduced to them. So it's really how my channel was able to actually grow and mature.
Right.
And I fell in love with the YouTube process. It became a release, an outlet for me.
Yeah.
And it just took me 9 months to hit monetization.
That's really not long at all.
I didn't think I would do it.
I whenever I set out on my YouTube journey, I said, if I make money, I don't expect to make a single cent from the channel for the first year. That was my goal, though, was to hit it within a year, like at the end of a year. Hopefully, I'll hit monetization. And I don't remember how many months it was exactly, but I think it was like 6 months for me, and it was like it was mind blowing.
Because you rocketed to 1,000. You rocketed to it.
It was surprising, yeah. I was just happy to see that people resonate with the stuff.
Yeah,
That's really all it
just your stuff. It was I hadn't seen growth like that. To be perfectly honest with you, I hadn't seen growth like that since, because I was watching Mark Plymel before, I was watching RJ before, and Luke before I started. I would actually communicate with them as a fan.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen growth like that since those bigger channels at the time. Well, they're much bigger now, but even then it was just like, oh, this kid's got something here, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think we have a lot of good people to look up to, Like I attribute a lot of my just growth mentally, at least on YouTube, to like Daniel, for example, Daniel Braun. He's been a big mentor for me along the way, and I think obviously he's grown faster than like anybody we've seen.
Oh yeah. God. His growth is sick.
Yeah. I don't know how this even...
He came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Really and truly, he legitimately came out of nowhere. I remember when I discovered him before the YouTube pillow. I think it was like 2 apartments ago, a couple jobs ago. And it's like, I watch, and I really get a lot of joy watching the growth.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's one thing to see celebrities who you're very detached from. To see names and faces who are popular but there is this barrier of anonymity. But to know that, hey, I've interacted with these people. We've done game shows. We've done this. We've met.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is extra special to me to see you guys hit these milestones and just kill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you hit 5,000, then you hit 7,500, then you hit 10,000. Participating in the live Q&As and getting inspiration from you guys to step out on a limb and do something. Like when I first started doing live broadcasts, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was absolutely terrified. But now it's like I love them. But you guys actually... You inspire me, and when I tell you, like, YouTube's always playing somewhere in my house, in my car. Yeah. So, like, even when I don't comment, like, I'm watching everything. Like, I will pick out points in videos, and people will be like, "You saw that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed about you too. Yeah, you're definitely. I would say you're one of the most supportive people in the entire space, but also like most watched would be the word for it. Like you genuinely like watch all of our stuff.
Absolutely. You guys put a ton of time into it. I know it from the other end. The kind of labor. Some days you don't want to sit in front of the computer. Some days you don't want to sit in front of the camera. But it's like, I got to do this. It takes a certain amount of dedication, which is very admirable to me.
Yeah. Well, we all thank you for what you do. It's very appreciated. But I do want to hit on the question too of how are you able to do what you do while having a very demanding full-time job, while having a demanding family in general? Family is just demanding. how do you balance all of that and still post content?
To be honest with you, I flipped the switch. I fell into the YouTube thing and I was like, all right, I just want to try this.
Yeah.
Then it went to, oh, I want to see how many videos I can put out.
Right.
Then it went to, I want to get monetized. Then I want to make money. Is this a viable option? But then when I realized the amount of time, and I got to tell you, people who do this full time have my utmost respect. Yeah. People think it's just pressing record. They don't know about the lights, the microphones, settings, sound check, video check, editing, new computer, editing software, thumbnails. Thumbnails are huge. Like, people don't know all of the things that go into an 8-minute video.
Yeah.
And then that's when it hit me. I can't do this full time.
Yeah.
I can't. I just can't.
Cool, yeah.
So once I realized that, let me relax. So
like
now that I'm relaxed, when everybody goes to sleep, I can run through a video.
Yeah.
Because I don't do scripts, so I just do outlines.
Yeah.
Because I like to, and that's why, like I said earlier, I don't have Citi videos because I don't have the cards, because I find it more relaxing for me to do an outline about a card that I possess.
Yeah, you
So I
have to
can
do the research. And
so the research isn't as intensive, and there are less things that I could possibly forget and or get wrong. So that's where I come from. And then once I realized I didn't want to do this full time, it allowed me kind of to branch off into the kind of content that I do. Like, I have credit card confessions where I just talk about credit mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
Because I've made quite a few.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just really, I now have Chad's perspectives, some of my unpopular opinions that I've put out in the credit card that I welcome people to disagree with.
Yeah.
Because we're all on our particular journeys.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I do want to also mention that I think your live streams are something that really separate you. It's like, I know Anthony Venture does them as well, of course, and Calby dabbles in it too, but I always think of really you and Anthony as being like the live streamers of our space. So what kind of joy have you found in that, or even success that has led you to keep doing them?
It's the connection with the audience.
Yeah.
By far, through live stream, I've met some of my subscribers who have become members of my channel, and just hearing their stories, like this one guy, he lost 100 pounds, got himself healthy by the time he got to 50. Shout out to John. Super nice guy. And now we talk every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day on Discord. Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning. What's going on? What's going on? And it's just like we have roundtable discussions, and I got away from the money-making aspect because I'm gainfully employed.
Right.
And I support my family to the best of my ability. And I know that there's money in YouTube, but I prize a connection to the audience that I have over and above all of it. Yeah. I've said it from the beginning, and I stand on it. I've ignored sponsorship emails for my channel. I have them in my inbox right now. It's just the connection for me. Yeah. That's the wealth in it.
That's awesome. See, I think of you and like Stan, for example, as having very similar outlooks on YouTube. It's more of, I'm coming at this as like a hobby perspective, and just like an outlet, like you said, like an outlet that you find some joy in, compared to, I'm going to make this a business. And obviously I'm on the business side of things. I think this is obviously still one of my hobbies, and that's why I'm able to do it as a career. But it is very interesting to see the two different sides of it. And I do envy that, like, the ability to just not really have to stress about it as much, just kind of film on your own terms, not take sponsorships, do that kind of stuff. Like, that's pretty admirable. So I think that comes across in your videos. Like, it's very genuine connection you have with the people there, and the types of videos you make are made for your audience. I think that's really cool. So I think that's something you have to keep up. And
at one point I was dropping 3 long forms a week.
That's crazy.
I was doing all my own editing, holding down a full-time job, and it was crazy. And then once that change for me happened, like, I'll put out content, I do members only stuff, and it's fun. Yeah. It's fun. It's more fun for me now. And then it's just like, when I can carve out time, I'll just hit off a backlog of videos, because I always have ideas. And I have notebooks and notebooks of outlines that I'm ready. I got a couple of outlines literally sitting in a notebook now that I just have to film. But yeah, it's just, it took a lot of stress off of me. But for guys like you, guys like Daniel, Sebi, like, you full-time guys, bless you.
It's definitely fun. I mean, I couldn't do stuff like this if I was doing, I mean, I guess I could. It's the weekend, but still, I wouldn't be able to make trips like this happen.
Yeah, man.
I just find a lot of enjoyment in it, so hoping that.
Yeah, the freedom that you have, I can't lie. That part I envy at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just and also being in different seasons. You know what I mean? I'm 41. Right. And I really need to hammer down getting into my financial stride. I got, kids going into elementary school. I got a teenager. I got a preteen. We're in 2 different seasons. Yeah. So for me, even if I could do it, I couldn't really exercise that kind of freedom because I have responsibilities that literally tie me to home.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely, I will never disparage or look down on anybody who's like, oh, you're doing that for full. No, it is. I'm telling you now, listen to me. It is a labor of love. This guy loves you because to do this full time, I do it part time. This guy loves you. He loves you more than I do. And I love you.
That's a big bar to reach. But yeah, it's also, I mean, obviously for me too, I just have less responsibility in general. So to take it full time, that kind of risky thing to do I have that ability, while if I had a family, I would not have taken this full time.
And your success dictates. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even when I did the yearbook video, honestly, I had to include you. Like, it would have been kind of silly. You know what I mean? It's like, it would have been really silly as a contemporary to not have you in there because your rise has been absolutely meteoric. Because your relatability to the audiences that you're trying to hit, it just comes off, it's very inviting. And even I said on the video and that's just through a computer. In person, it goes to another level. So you had to be included in that. Like, I think you're cut out for this.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
So definitely, man. You I think Dan, you better watch out in the next 2 years. I mean, no offense, Dan. You're a good guy. I haven't met you in person, but long time subscriber. But yeah, man. Yeah, it just takes a special breed, and I think you're just a part of that. I don't have it. Yeah, I just don't got what it takes.
I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I think we're all blessed to be a part of a community that is very tight knit. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without you. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without Stan. Like, I need people around me that are having some similar lived experience. Yeah. And that's what I love about this. And sounds like you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do also want to ask one last thing is that I ask every guest on the channel is what kind of goals do you have for say the next 12 months for your channel, and what can we expect to see maybe that we haven't yet? Do you have any plans for that?
Well, for the next 12 months, I want to get into more of meaningful redemptions for things that would be more commonly used, as opposed to, I don't want to focus on purely international business class stuff. Okay. The wife and I were actually talking about it. I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I've never been there, never seen it. I want to really just spend some time in DC and I'm a big history buff, so I think that would be right up my street. I want to go see Mount Rushmore. I'm from the inner city. And when I was in the inner city, I was here in Florida. So everything was either a skyscraper or a swamp. Yeah. So when I go out west, one thing about out west, like California, Utah being one of my favorite places, the mountain backdrops. For some reason, mountains, I just get stuck. So that is what I want to do over the next 12 months and start refining some content so that I can compartmentalize things for expert players, for beginning players. I kind of don't want people coming into the game grasping in the dark. Yeah. So that is what I'm looking at. But I'm still going to be releasing. I'm still going to be associating with high caliber individuals like this guy here. So that is pretty much it for my 12-month journey. Do I have time to do a fun fact? There's a fun fact. Yeah, go for it. Fun fact about me: my socks never match.
Interesting.
Ever.
Now I know.
Never. I mean, I figure in life, life's boring. No reason to be boring from head to toe. At least we can stop at the ankles. As a matter of fact, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but I have an Argyle sock on here. And I have a Batman sock on here.
There you go.
My socks never match. So if you ever see me, feel free, tuck my pants up, and you will see I'm wearing mismatched socks.
That's so funny. Yeah, they got a little Easter egg for you now at the next meetup. Everybody's going to be checking your socks.
That's it.
That's awesome.
At the other one, socks weren't matching then either.
Yeah.
They never match.
That's so funny. Well, Chad, I think I speak for everybody here, but just want to say thank you for taking the time to drive to meet me here. I came to Florida, but I'm not necessarily right next to you, so it means a lot that you'd come.
Absolutely my pleasure. I would not have passed it up for the world.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And obviously, if y'all haven't subscribed to Chad yet, definitely go do that. I don't see how after this conversation you wouldn't. But if you're still here and you're not subscribed to him, go do it. But yeah, thank you again. And as always, guys, we'll catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Perfect.
All right, that's
Look at
good.
that.